So 4 minutes is finally over. What a roller coaster ride of emotional turmoil, jumping through one dark cave after another, with each episode packed with tension and non-stop twists. Overall, I really liked this series, but it definitely needed at least 2 more episodes to unearth each character's trauma and provide them with some time and space for reflection. I also do not think Kon and Tonkla deserved the ending they got, but I will talk more about it as we get to their scenes. I liked the acting of everyone in the series, and I do think they were perfectly casted for their roles. BOC always takes time to produce a series, but when they bring out something, you know it's going to be worth watching. Episode 7 has a heartbreaking start. We see how much abuse poor Tonkla went through with his father. His father was a drunkard and would physically abuse Tonkla and his little brother Dom. When someone who is supposed to protect you, nurture you, becomes a source of terror, it can do irreplaceable damage to your heart and mind. Over time, you become immune to the abuse. You might even become desensitized to violence, and this is the exact thing that happened with Tonkla. He tries to regain control of himself and his brothers' lives by inflicting the same violence on others. In this case, his own father and Dom's killers. In this case, Tonkla became executioner himself, justifying his killings as revenge and thinking that violence is the only language that the world understands, and murder is the only revenge for people who are cruel towards him and his brother. His thirst for revenge started when his father killed his pet cat, and seeing hallucinations and visions of that kitty afterwards always prompted him to seek revenge against his perpetrators. The killing of a beloved pet in this series symbolizes the destruction of his innocence, and in Tonkla's case, it marks the turning point where his thirst for revenge begins to take shape. Honestly, Tonkla and his brother Dom's stories need a whole series of their own. They are so intriguing. We also see that Vin is trying to find out who killed Dom, but Tonkla is quicker and ends up finding out that Title killed Dom, and Great helped Title in getting rid of his body. Honestly, Devil works hard, but Tonkla works harder, and he immediately devises a plan to bring down these two manslayers. On the other side of the city, these two vile human beings are planning to run away. I think by making Great and Kon's parents run away, the writer took the easy way out. In all honesty, we needed them to face more ramifications of their actions than just fleeing to another country. I think when Time sees Great lying on the surgery bed, he only feels guilt here. He has still not fallen in love with Great yet, but he regrets treating Great so badly. He regrets using Great for revenge. He regrets not returning Great's feelings. But love? I doubt he fell in love or realized his feelings here. He only understood his feelings in episode 8 when he himself went into that 4-minute state. This moment is so sad but also full of hope, because upon hearing Time's voice, Great finally came to his senses and decided to fight for his life and not give in to that 4-minute state. Then comes the most heartbreaking scene of this episode. Time's grandma is shot by Title's dad and the real villain of the show. Such a sad end to Time's family. To be really honest with you guys, Grandma was probably the only person I wanted to protect in this show, and it's so upsetting that she had to bear the brunt of what her kid and grandkid did. It's so unfair. We actually really needed to see the backstory of how Time's parents are connected to Great's parents, and we saw that Time's parents were actually the one who introduced Great's parents to this gambling business. Yes, Time's parents were involved in this shady business, but they did not deserve to die. I don't know. Also, we do see the whole backstory as viewers, but does Time realize who his parents were until the end? I'm not sure. He still thinks that his parents were innocent and Great's parents got them killed for no reason, when in reality Great's parents had no involvement in their killings. Ultimately, we also see that Title's dad shoots Time as well, and Time goes into that 4-minute state. Time's decision to take the teaching position at the hospital rather than chasing wealth showcases a longing for a life of purpose and fulfillment, not driven by material gain but by something more meaningful. His love story with Great feels authentic and heartfelt, like the innocence and excitement of first love, untouched by the complications of real-world pressures. He meets Great at his clinic. The love story was so organic, heartfelt and homely, like a teenager's dream who has fallen in love for the first time. The amicable breakup with Nucha and especially Time apologizing to her represents his desire for redemption and to heal the wounds he caused. In reality, he never gave that closure, but in his dream, he seeks to right those wrongs. This dream highlights the complexity of Time's character, a person torn between who he is and who he wants to be. It's a powerful and emotional moment because it taps into a universal feeling of regret and the longing for a better version for ourselves. The moments between Time and Great were so beautiful, especially Time taking the initiative to hold Great's hand on their first date, revealing the depth of Time's longing to be open, affectionate, and proactive in their relationship. It's as if in the dream, Time's walls have come down and he's finally able to express the love and vulnerability he couldn't in reality. Teaching Great how to play the guitar, playing with his cat Akira, and sharing all these small intimate moments like kissing and being romantic everywhere reflect the kind of simple yet profound happiness Time sought but was afraid to reach for. The dream shows Time's inner struggle, how in reality he ended up pushing Great away because of his trauma and fear, despite desperately wanting to build this beautiful relationship. It's heartbreaking because in the dream, Time was finally free to live out the love story he always wanted, but in reality his fears and past pain kept him from embracing that happiness. It seemed like Time too was about to give into that 4-minute black hole, but thankfully his friend Dr. Den brings him back to reality, and this is how both Time and Great ended up surviving. Great came back because of Time's voice and Time came back because of Dr. Den's voice. Now we are back to the real world. Fasai is one badass woman. The moment you as a viewer start feeling pity for her, thinking that her man only wants to marry her for the money and protection, she will slap you in the face by declaring that Kon is no longer of use to her anymore and he should literally just get the F out of her life. Honestly, good for her. Now Kon doesn't have Fasai and Tyrell's father's protection and he's left with no money as well. He's basically done for. I will not say that he didn't deserve this, but at the same time I do feel bad for him because he has lost every single thing that he has ever cared about in his life. I think this phone call is basically Kon's last attempt to get revenge from Fasai and Title's dad for basically ruining their lives. I think this is related to what becomes of their dad at the end of the last episode. I think because of this phone call, the daughter of this person takes revenge on Varit. So Vin is basically after Tonkla for the murder of Title after doing absolutely nothing to punish Dome's killer. This just shows how corrupt the justice system is. If the police officer in charge, who is Vin in this case, didn't back down because of pressure and brought the accused into jail, Tonkla wouldn't have to take justice in his own hands. This is why I can never like his character. He slept with Tonkla, fulfilled his fantasies, and never brought his killer to justice. Instead, went after Tonkla to cover his own ass. That little reunion between Kon and Tonkla was honestly the best part of the series for me. It was just so heartbreaking, sad, and beautiful. Kon and Tonkla were meant to be together from the start, and Kon would do anything to protect Tonkla, but Vin catches up to them as they are running away. Tonkla confesses to Kon that he cheated on him and even shot his brother Great. The absolute heartbreak in Kon's eyes was so hard to see. I really appreciate Boss as an actor and I think he's so underrated. His expressions here delivered the emotional turmoil of his character so perfectly. I could feel the pain of betrayal in his eyes and the absolute disbelief that his innocent, spoiled little brother could be part of something so heinous. I think the scene where Vin shoots Tonkla could be interpreted in so many ways. Was Tonkla trying to protect Vin and shield him, or was he trying to stop Kon from being a murderer like him? I choose to believe the latter, and I choose to believe that Tonkla sacrificed himself to prevent Kon from following the same dark path that he did. Because frankly, a fling cannot be compared to a 10-year relationship, and you don't stop loving someone who literally rescued you from your abusive dad and gave you a home. Kon gave Tonkla more than just love. He gave him safety, hope, and a new life, something that Tonkla clearly never forgot. In that moment, Tonkla may have been trying to preserve the person who saved him, because he knew that Kon taking a life would forever change him. Kon, on the other hand, couldn't bear to see Tonkla getting shot like that. He couldn't bear to live in a world where he couldn't see Tonkla's face. For Kon, Tonkla isn't just a lover, he's someone who represents his own humanity. His reason to stay in that gambling business, his reason to win over his dad and tell him that he loves Tonkla and wants to be with him. Kon's devastation at the sight of Tonkla's death shows that Tonkla wasn't just someone he loved romantically, but someone who represented safety, trust, and a shared history that can't be erased. And so Kon ends his own life and they both die in each other's arms. Initially, I was angry that Kon and Tonkla died just like that and they didn't get their own 4-minute chance. But then we look at Kon's watch and it showed 9:30 p.m. and to go into 4-minute state, the time needs to be at 11 p.m. Both Time and Crate were shot at 11 p.m. This is why they went into the 4-minute state, but Kon and Tonkla died at 9:30, so they are just basically dead. I frankly lost interest in the show after this scene. I'm glad Time and Crate got their happy ending, and Crate tried to follow the path of justice and surrendered himself for his involvement in Dom's death. Overall, I think 4 Minutes was a great show. I found myself immersed in the story. It was fast-paced and emotionally intense. The acting was top-notch and the cast truly delivered, with no weak performances pulling us out of the experience. While it may not be the kind of show I'd turn to for comfort, its ability to evoke such strong emotions and keep me engaged is a testament to its quality. Sometimes shows like 4 Minutes aren't meant for repeated viewings because they leave you feeling anxious or emotionally drained, but they still hold a special place for their ability to captivate and challenge us as viewers. What did you think about the show? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you soon with a new video, lovelies. Bye!